but you can't stop the main program. And we get into language again. What is a program? Where do we find programs? There are two kinds of program, or three I can think of. There's an education program, there's a TV program, and there's a computer program. There's also a program if you go to the theater magazine that tells you what's happening and what's on. But the basic root is the principle of the idea of a computer program. A computer program is a specific set of instructions designed to cause a specific result. Now, complex programs give the illusion of randomness. What this means is that complex programs give you a feeling that there is freedom within the program. Think about the PlayStation principle, right? The newest games allow you to do more things that you couldn't do before, right? It's like, oh wow, we couldn't do this before, and I always wanted to do something like that, and so you feel like there's a development of an experience, but at the same time, it's still within the borders of the screen. Outside of the screen, this does not exist. And this is why, despite the fact that technology is becoming much more powerful, it'll never become artificially independent, because my computer is not going to stand up, walk across the room, and decide to make a cup of tea. Right? It's just not going to happen, because programs, because you can't program randomness. You can't. Everything within the game that you play is a set of possibilities that exist within the rules of the game. Right? One of the characters in the game can't just suddenly decide, oh right, but fuck this, I'm gonna leave the army and I'm gonna open a bakery or or join the circus or something like that, because it's not within the program of the game. And you see, that's how human consciousness and the human mind works in that kind of insane way. Like, you're walking to school and you're thinking about what it would be like to play basketball on an airplane or something weird, right? You're making weird connections in your mind that shouldn't exist, right? Or you're in a pub or club or at a party and you see a beautiful girl and you think, should I talk to her or shouldn't I talk to her? The computer doesn't go through that, right? The computer just doesn't go through that experience, because the computer is programmed to communicate a certain percentage of time. Or if these conditions and these conditions and these conditions are right, then to make this choice. Yes, no. Yes, no. Okay? And yes or no here. Okay? And yes or no here. And yes or no here. And the result is based on the program. You cannot do anything that is outside of the program. You just can't. It's not achievable in terms of technology. My telephone is not going to cook my breakfast for me, right? It's just not going to happen. My telephone is not going to wake up with a headache, right? It's just not going to happen. You can simulate these things. You can have the image of these things existing, but they can't really exist. Because if you program a robot to have a headache, it's not a real headache. It's part of the program. So this idea that at some point in time technology will become artificially intelligent is in fact not possible. What will happen is technology will be very powerful. You will have robots in your home that do certain things for you. It's like some kind of strange horror movie going on outside there. You can, so you can have, as I said, robots in your home who do certain things, but these will all be part of the program. It's not going to develop to the point where the robot says, "Oh, I just don't feel like it today," because they don't feel like it. You could program that in, but it wouldn't be real. You could program that in, but it wouldn't be real. So, because there's a difference between the brain and the mind. There's a difference between the brain and the mind. Everyone knows where the brain is. Where's the mind? No one really knows where the mind is. Well, it's kind of in your head, and it's sort of a result of these chemical reactions between you. Well, you're not sure, are you? Right? So with computers, we can build a brain. We can follow some kind of semi-biological construct, and we can create certain algorithms that make things appear to be real, which are not real. But you can have consciousness through a machine. This idea of there will be a ghost in the machine, and the machine will take over, and you'll get these stupid situations which have come out in films recently. Like I think Machina was one of them, where you people who fall in love with robots that look like people, right? But you're not falling in love with a person, and the robot is designed to copy the actions of a person. So that just proves how stupid people are. I mean, it's just no different from falling in love with a book or something, right? It's just not living and breathing. It's just the image of something which is living and breathing. And you can't fall in love with a copy of something anyway. Because it's a copy of something. You only fall in love with original things, right? How much is a copy worth? Almost nothing. Everything has to be original. It's originality that creates value. You know, when you see a singer and you think, oh, that singer's just copying somebody else who did something before, it's like it's all the value is gone. It's like, well, that's a nice copy, but yeah, it's a nice copy, but it's not the same. Like every black singer now wants to sing like Michael Jackson, right? But you're not Michael, right? Every basketball player wants to be, I don't know. It's like it was Michael Jordan. Maybe now it's Kobe Bryant or something like that, or yeah. But you're not. But you're not. Yeah. And the only ones that get better are the ones that understand that they're not, and they work on themselves rather than working on being a copy. Steph Curry, for example, or of a player like that. So technologies is extremely powerful, but it can't replace the way we do the things that we do. It just can't. I mean, you wouldn't look at all all those things those guys from Red Bull do, right? All the crazy stunts and the mountain biking and snowboarding and motocross and skateboarding and all the other crazy activities. Do you think a computer would do those things? It wouldn't, because it wouldn't see a point. The computer would be like, "What is the point?" Well, and you see that in the Star Wars robots have that problem, right? they're they're all they're all they're all logic, and all the characters are all emotional, and the robots are like, "What's going on?" But Master Luke, why are you going here? Right? Uh, so they have very specific jobs and very specific missions and tasks, and they stay on the task and on the job. Whereas people tend to kind of drift a bit, like, "Oh, it's nice weather outside." You're not gonna get a computer going, "It's nice weather outside. Maybe I should just take a break for half an hour, or go and smoke a cigarette or something like that." It's just such an irrational thing for people to do that it's just not. That they're not. Computers are not going to be able to match human creativity. The dark side is that computers will be extremely powerful. They will be able to process data and information much faster than we can process data and information. And therefore, people will allow computers to make decisions. And that is dangerous, because we all know that sometimes it's really difficult to understand what is right and what is wrong. Like you're processing the information about the presidential debate, right? You're processing it like, "I don't get it." I don't. Why are they the best that we can, like, two comedy actors, right? I mean, if you were going to make a comedy film, you would pick one person who looked like Hillary Clinton and one person who looked like Donald Trump. That's what you would pick, because they both look insane. And you're processing that, trying to understand it, and look at it. A computer wouldn't do that. A computer would be, "Give me the data." And they process all the data, and they look at all the numbers, and they'd have some fantastic formula or algorithm that then give you, "Oh, this person is the best person for this reason. They have 3.2% more something in some area." Right. And you can see some of the logic in doing that. Um, if you're a big corporation and you're like, "Oh, we can save 3.2% in this area," and that's great, but 1,000 people are going to lose their jobs. Do we have to? Right? The computer's not going to worry about people, because because sadly only people worry about people, right? So I just, and it's slowly getting to that point. Let me give you a little example, which is a little bit scary, which is somebody goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Oh, come in, sit down. How are you? What are your symptoms?" You're putting all the feelings into the computer, right? Feeling like this on this day. This problem. Okay, and then they take some measurements and they do some tests and they put all the tests in the computer. And they hit a button and the computer tells them what the best drug is, right? Right. And what if the person's going through a divorce, right? What if the person's grandmother just died? What if they're like moving from one house to another house is one of the most stressful things that people can do in their life. What if they're moving from one house? What if their boss is unhappy with their work? What if they want to change their job but they can't change the job? What if the physical symptoms are the result of psychological pressure? And there's not even any possibility to process this information through a computer. Whereas a well-trained doctor could maybe see that something is not right somewhere. But a computer could never do that. A computer would be like, just take these pills. This is your problem. Take this. This is the solution. You will feel better. Do you feel better now? No. Take some more. Come back when you feel better. Right? As mad as it sounds, we, in some elements of society, we're in that kind of system, and so it can be really, really helpful and really, really useful. But are we going to lose too much of this very thing that makes us human, which is the challenge of growth and the emotional capacity? And that's another thing. Computers don't grow, do they? It's not like, okay, oh look, it was small and now it's big. That's another thing that computers don't do. Oh yes, but maybe no, that's not going to happen. You'd have to have some really powerful integration of biology and technology. Biotechnology. Oh, I guess that industry already exists. But we are thousands of years away from that stage, if that stage is ever possible. We can do some cool tricks with technology, right? We can make people believe that things that are real, which are not real. We can create holograms and that. Okay, yeah, we can play with all that stuff, and it's fun, and they're all cool toys. But imagine playing basketball and computers are watching. I mean, it's not the same. It's not the same atmosphere, is it? It's not going to be the same. The noise, the sound of people in the stadium, and everything. It's not going to be the same. There's a sound that people make when they're frustrated and angry that computers just don't. Right? Yeah, and we don't want technology to go down that road. I don't think it's even possible anyway. But we don't want, Well, I just don't feel like turning on today. Yeah. Right. Keep catching this cable here. Right. Rant over.